I'm fired up.
There we go.
Yeah, we just had robot talk there
We
briefly.
did.
Yes.
So what kind of robot do you want?
Well, not the kind you're thinking. No, I want one.
I just want to help name.
So years ago, I went to NTT Data and did like this content for their data center. And they had this floor that was like you walked into the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
And they had this little robot that back then, probably 7 years ago, it was a novelty, but it was expensive as shit. But it held an iPad for you to interact with, and it talked to you, and it had like sensors.
Yeah.
So I want that, but now I want it to have AI, so I can walk in, and they have some right now that are about $5,000 that they will follow you around on wheels.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have.
I just
AI
want one that
baked in.
makes me a cappuccino. I just don't want it to be like, would you like your cappuccino? And like, and then I get to tell it what my name is, and it'll be like, just something outrageous that I want to be called all day long. It'll be
Guy
amazing.
incognito.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So okay, so now surely there has to be one.
Oh, I'm sure.
That has.
Yeah.
Would somebody please get on that? If not, I can't imagine there's not like a talking.
Oh no, it's coming.
Keurig.
I'm sure it's here. Yeah.
Oh no, they don't do espresso. No, that's. See, I'm still utilitarian
So many
with my
levels.
coffee. Well, I'm just straight black coffee.
Me too.
So like, cappuccino doesn't it have stuff in it.
I say that, but I don't remember last time I actually had a cappuccino. Rick is calling me out on my bullshit fast. I mean, I just got here. Yes, I drank black coffee, Rick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the internet. I'm sorry to all the people that I've lied to about my cappuccino love. I just thought a cappuccino sounded better than like, hey, get me a boring black coffee like my soul.
Like make me a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually professing like I don't know what's in it.
Yeah. No,
But like
I think,
my reaction is
just
doesn't have stuff
cream
in it.
and just milk and just sugar.
Okay,
and
there
all
you
the
go.
Things.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. No, I really wasn't trying.
Friday morning confessions.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Anything else we'd like to talk about?
Get off our chest. No, but check this out. Okay, so first and foremost, shout out to Austin for just essentially woodshedding in here, and we have a cliched saying in recovery where I didn't know how effed up I was until I started getting better.
Yes.
And so the same goes for this. It's like, yes, of course, this was all very functional and working great, and we make cool stuff. But oh my God, what a disaster whenever it's like, I didn't know this amount of orderliness
was possible.
Yeah. And then he put a bunch of crazy stuff in the computer box over there that like right now, for the folks that can see, check that out. There, 2 shot. Oh, look at that logo right there.
That's like when you film when I film promotion videos and I'm like, hit the link, subscribe. I don't know what's happening. Like, I filmed it so far before. I don't know what I'm pointing at. I'm like, hit the thing.
Yeah, you're trusting the editor to actually, and then
like people need guidance. Like I'm pretty sure they can figure that part out.
Well, but then you also don't take into account that somebody editing video, by the time they're on like your 37th video, they are so sick of Wayne. Yeah. It's like they don't care if you're pointing at the sky, the ground, the table.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
They're just like, can we just check that box, get it done?
Absolutely.
Speaking of checking boxes.
Okay.
So so Wayne actually did homework. Would we call it homework, or would he's providing the visual aids?
Yes.
Let's say visual aids provided by Hero Nation Coaching.
That Pam made. So thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to Pam. What's
Shout out
up?
to Pam.
So I have a vague idea. I saw this briefly as I put it in a Dropbox.
Yeah.
But high security here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pam, by the way, since I've lost so much weight since the beginning of the year, she's like, "Hey, we need to tell that story. You need to send me pictures." And I was like, "Did you just ask me to send you selfies, topless selfies?" And I think that's what she asked for. So I called her out on it, and she got 14 shades of red.
I was just saying, you had a side hustle.
It was amazing. It was
Wayne's OnlyFans account coming soon.
It's no subscribers, unfortunately. Everyone's just like, how do I pay to never see that again? Is there a button that I don't ever have to subject myself to this? That is a niche.
Give me $3 and you'll never see this again.
Well, just to go totally off the rails, I always wanted to create an OnlyFans for single dads. Like just teach me how to do things. You know what I mean? Like braid hair. I want to know how to make the best cupcake. Like I want to know the whole thing. Just to learn. Just teach me things.
Okay.
Nobody taught me things.
I just found a phobia that I did not realize I had. Like all the stuff you just said.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. That. Because it's like all I'm doing is damage. If you put me in control of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I agree because all of my friends that are dads, I'm like, wow, you're a dad. You know, I guess that's a thing where you're like, wow, you're a dad.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. No, I saw a TikTok the other day. It was like, we're all the single, like good, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, we're at home doing laundry. That's where we are. We're at home trying to figure out how to make gluten-free cupcakes and do laundry.
Until your kid did not have a Red Bull for breakfast.
And tell Kaysa, no Red Bull at 8:30 in the morning. What are we doing? I love her so much, and no.
And I'm over here going like 8:30 in the morning is the exact time for a Red Bull.
I mean, I did say that after I had gone to the gym and crushed my whatever C4 or whatever it is, like basically restarts my heart every morning. And I had just taken my Vyvanse and was drinking a cup of coffee. So now that I'm playing it back, I probably should not be a little less judgy.
Okay, so you and Austin are going to be in like straight up head-to-head competition for who is the most awake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love seeing sound. It's great. It's everywhere.
I took half a Broncaid, which is like, it's essentially a over-the-counter breathing ephedrine, just because my deviated septums and I've had it operated. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah. Is that the stuff you're supposed to like take like intermittently, like once every once in a while, and like you've been doing it for like 40 years? Is that kind of what that is?
I can neither confirm or deny that particular.
I don't know what happened to Fired Up Friday. I feel like this is like Confession Friday is what this turned into. I'm not sure what's happening.
We took a weird turn into Catholicism.
We did.
Yeah, we did. However, now we're going to get it back on track.
Yes.
And we're going to actually, like here, look, Austin comes in the middle of the night. Now there's
tape,
green tape here.
Yeah,
and I'm assuming this has something to do with the camera positioning.
Sure.
Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, look, he's really. We'll leave it for future reference. So back to the order of the day.
Back to the point at hand. Yes, we're very professional.
The whole reason that I did this, it's the ongoing, only half kidding. If you want to get free coaching, build a studio, have a show.
Absolutely.
And so here we are.
Boom, there we go.
This is that in action.
Yes.
So we've got the Hero Nation branded. We got it all on point.
Thank you, Pam.
How to regain peace, focus, and calm. This presupposes that you've had them at some point.
Yes. Yeah. Or how to work towards them. Maybe.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
Probably the answer.
Aiming towards. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Overthinking.
And here's the thing: we have all of these emotions. And I think what's so interesting before we jump into it, I think what's great is like to realize that we don't have to experience all of these in the negative way that we have. Meaning, like when you have one of my phrases, when you have every frustration is an indication. Meaning, like when you have some sort of frustration, it's like a light in the dashboard. Like, hey, I don't like this, or this is frustrating. This doesn't feel good. Like that's a light in the dashboard. Like something might be amiss, right? Like maybe we should do something about it. So what do we do as entrepreneurs? We just pound Advil, right? We're like our head hurts. And we're like, I'm just gonna take more Advil. Maybe it's like I should drink water sometimes. You know what I mean? Or like maybe eat something green every once in a while. Like maybe there's a reason why you're having this recurring headache. But like as entrepreneurs, like just work harder, just do more, just grind out more, whatever it is, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like we don't actually have a toolbox of like, oh, here's ways that I can actually help myself.
Yeah, if
get
this,
through
then
stuff.
that.
Yes.
You know, that sort of thing. And I'm laughing to myself over here because I'm just thinking like, okay, how many different lights are currently on in my car? And who among us has at one time or another maybe said, will your car to ChatGPT in Texas? Will your car pass inspection if the tire sensor light is on?
Yeah.
Turns out yes.
Yeah.
That is not a necessary.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pro tip of the day.
The pro tip of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so I agree. All of these things, especially in the entrepreneurial framework and circuitry, overthinking.
Dude, and we get into that, and there's probably another version of that down here, right? Anxious and things like that. But like, I think so much of overthinking is lack of a process on how to get through something, right? Like, I'm overthinking. This thing is huge, it's vague, and I don't actually have a predetermined way of like, how do I go through these kinds of things? And we go like, same thing with like, I'm overwhelmed. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, those two things kind of ride shotgun with each other.
Absolutely.
And it usually is, at least in my experience, based on having too many options or the appearance of too many options.
Yeah.
And having that paralyzed thing of, well, what if I pick the wrong one?
Yeah.
Well then, okay, well, I know what I'll do. I will overthink every contingency on all of them, thereby assuring that I make the right choice.
And when you do it, are you writing it down?
Oh no.
No,
oh, no, this is
it's like a pinball machine in your brain where it's just like ding, 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 ding.
I was just
it's like it's just gonna bing for like 4 days or 6 months or whatever it is, and it's like, hey, maybe like write some stuff down. Like actually, and that it could be that simple. Like actually write down the options.
Why don't
when
we
it's up there
aim
just
towards
all over the place,
clarity?
it's not getting anywhere.
And so for all my Gen Xers out there, the Black Knight pinball game that came out, it was the first one that had multi-ball, where you hit whatever the sequence of gimmicks was.
Yes.
All of a sudden, there's 6 balls on the double-decker pinball machine, and it is like your asses and elbows just trying to keep pace with like what is going. And it's
I think that's like going from having a job to being an entrepreneur. I think that's the perfect analogy.
Yes,
of like
it's
this
multi-ball.
Yes, absolutely.
It's multi-ball.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
There was no way to ever have it, because one of the things with video games, at least back in the day and early on, was you learn the pattern. So if you learn the pattern of Pac-Man, it's really no longer a game anymore, but you can play it for an hour and 45 minutes.
I don't think I ever learned the pattern.
Now I'm curious to see if I do remember. Probably remember part.
ChatGPT it.
Yeah, there you go.
So stop, drop, and roll. When you find yourself overwhelmed, it's like, hey, I'm on fire, right? Like my brain's freaking out.
Right.
Stop, drop, and the drop is like write things out. Like here are my 5 options, right? Here's the 15 things I need to do. Here's the 2 that are most important. So stop, drop, and then decide what next is, which is the roll. So stop, drop.
Right on. I love that. Okay, so Uninspired.
Man, I love autobiographies. Actually, I haven't listened to one in a while. Autobiographies are very, I don't know, they're good for my brain.
I agree 100%, and I will see your autobiography, and I will raise the Founders Podcast.
Okay. Oh, yes.
The Founders Podcast is kick-ass, and I don't even remember how I found it, but I think the dude's been doing it for like 6 or 7 years. And it's what I love is the origin story of somebody who does a podcast.
Yes.
And so the beginning of it, it's like so low rent, where he's literally just reading an autobiography, taking notes, and then reading his notes into a microphone.
I love it.
And for me and my brain of the overthinking, or I want a data dump and can you just distill it and just inject it into my skull?
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good. I love the Nike one. Was one of my favorites. Like he's selling Nikes or shoes out of the back of his car. Like, and it's so inspiring to be like, oh wait, like they went through it too, or like this wasn't either. It's just it's so. I think we sometimes hold these people up on pedestals and think that they haven't ever gone through stuff, and it's nice to actually hear the stuff they've gone through. Yeah.
And so this guy has gotten me on the track to actually. So the most recent one that I did was Steve Jobs, the big gigantic biography, and just all of the interesting bits and pieces where like what you said, especially now, Steve Jobs has kind of like been canonized and to the saint. And I mean, to the literal. So I went down the rabbit hole when I'm reading the autobiography or listening to the autobiography, because listening counts.
Listening 100%
That is a well-established fact.
It is a well-established fact.
Fired Up Friday.
Common knowledge in scientific circles.
Yes. Listening to audiobooks counts as reading. Don't let anybody tell you different. So I went down the rabbit hole on just whatever I could find where he was actually talking, because that is one of the other cool things that the internet gives us, amongst the insane cat memes and whatever else, is archival footage. Just a totally off the topic, but kind of on. George Carlin has kind of been my spirit animal ever since I was a little kid, because we got HBO when I was 12 or 13, and he had been doing HBO specials. I've come to realize every year since I was 13 till I was about 30, George Carlin did an HBO special.
Wow.
So I recently downloaded all of them. So last night I'm watching the one, Carlin at Carnegie, which was the original. It's like if I ever had something that imprinted on me, like you hear the stories where like a camel gives birth and it sees a Jeep as the first, and now thinks the Jeep is its mom. That was me.
I'm
with the
pretty sure
George
that's
Carlin
not a thing. But keep going. No, that's.
We're asking GPT. we're gonna straighten that out.
Don't even ask me about 100 men taken out of Silverback, because if we have to go through that all over again.
I love that. See, that's also what that is what the internet is made for.
It really is.
But that whole thing of seeing, because I watched the biography film of George Carlin and realizing like he had all of these moments where, because I had him fully formed in my head from 14 on as this thing, Well, not realizing like, oh, he had like 3 careers before that that were up, down, sideways, and he completely reinvented himself. Same with Steve Jobs. And then I started there just with the briefest side. Like he was canonized. Whenever he died, there were like candlelight vigils and stuff.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But back to your thing about the autobiographies. Where look at me, I'm like highly caffeinated today.
Yeah, I was so lost, and you brought us all the way back.
Yeah.
When did you become this guy?
Which guy?
I missed the old guy that couldn't connect 2 dots on a good Tuesday.
Well, it's because I've had good coaching. See, that's by osmosis.
Thank you. My work is done. My work is my work.
Your work
episode
is never
87,
done.
and we're out.
Yeah,
There we
and
go.
we're out. He's fixed.
I must move on to like Mary Poppins. Pack up my purse and move on to
I'm
the
needed
next one.
elsewhere.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Scared.
One of the best things, and this is in my book, right, where I talk about getting back up. One of the best things that someone ever told, one of my mentors said, just do the next right thing.
Yes.
And dude, I lived that for probably the year after I was going through my worst stuff. Just do the next right thing. And man, that helped me so much because I couldn't see 15 steps ahead.
Right.
I couldn't, people like, write your goals. I was like, dude, I don't know, like make it to this afternoon.
Yeah,
like that
exactly.
would be, so like just do the next right thing. Just make one step. Don't worry about the 100 phone calls. Just make one. Don't worry about the 100 of this. Like just make one. So huge.
And like there, one of the things, one of my mentors in recovery, his mantra was move a muscle, change a thought.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you're sitting there paralyzed, overthinking, et cetera, do something.
Absolutely.
And that ties right into do the next right thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And like you said, if you feel stuck, literally go, like it's right, like go for a walk, like move. Because, our state is based on the words we use. It's based on what we're focused on, and it's based on our physiology, right? So like when I'm saying like I'm sad and I'm sitting in this depressed state and I'm focused on all the bad things, and we're like, of course you're going to stay there forever, but like you can change your state so quickly. It's like get up, move for a second, focus on something else, usually by asking a powerful question. And so yeah, get up, move.
Oh, I like that.
Go for a walk.
Ask a powerful question.
Ask a powerful question. Yep.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Tired?
We are probably not the best at answering this. like there's a textbook answer of like, hey, if you're tired, like take a 10-minute nap, do meditation, right? All this, or do a CEO nap, which is my go-to.
Yes.
But whatever this is probably better. Here's the one thing that we can actually preach, because we do practice it. Do a better job of renewing rather than numbing. So I'm great at numbing, which is like, hey, I feel tired.
PhD in that
I'll
shit.
scroll on my phone or do something.
Doom scroll.
Yeah, I'll doom scroll for instead of like literally do something renewing. Go for a walk, listen to something good, just breathe for 5 minutes, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a 45-minute
touch grass,
activity.
as the
go
kids
touch
say.
as the kids say. Go touch some grass, not smoke the grass. You do you.
Yeah.
There we go. Confused. Damn, ask for help.
Both of these don't really come with the OEM software when you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
It's like tired, work more, grind, be on your grind.
Yes. Because for all these, the only tool in our entrepreneur toolbox, the only starter tool is hammer.
Yes.
Which is like just go harder.
Yes.
Which just leaves you beat up and tired and exhausted.
Yeah, and confused. And then,
of
of
course,
course,
I'm frustrated, then I'm burned out, then I'm unmotivated. Maybe this is just a journey. This is the heroic journey to hell.
Oh.
There you go.
Dude, look at that. Hero Nation on the Heroes. I actually love the Joseph Campbell Hero's Journey. And it made so much sense to me after seeing that. Did you pull that from, or like were you inspired by the concept of the hero's journey?
No, I learned about that later.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's serendipity right there.
There
bro.
you go. There you go.
But that's why Star Wars worked on me at like age 8 or 9.
All of us. Absolutely.
Dude, it was like what I imagine. It was like the Blues Brothers moment where he sees the light in church. It was like whatever it was. The dark side. Now, unfortunately, I volunteered to work for the dark side for a number of years.
I hard picked a side. Just turns out not the one that was the most rewarding.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I think confused though is like ask for help. I'm amazed at how many questions I don't get, and I don't want that to sound egotistical, but what I mean is you and I are both so connected. We've experienced so much. Like even if we don't have the answer, we probably know the person that does have the answer. You know what I mean? So it blows me away sometimes by the questions that I don't receive. You know what I mean? Which is also a little convicting of like, am I asking enough questions of other people? Like how many times are we trying to figure out on our own versus like just asking somebody for and sometimes sometimes just asking the question is part of the solution.
And having either a coach or now that like I have Tanner, you know, where it's like I have the perfect foil for like, even this morning, I'm like, hey, what do you think about if I, you know, we reboot this old wild ass thing that I did before, and instead of just pulling the trigger and be like, hey, we're doing this now, or like, hey, this seemed like a good idea for a New York minute, and then now I'm committed.
Yeah.
You know, like
one of my business partners, he's like, tell me if you're still excited about this tomorrow, which is his nice way of saying, first off, he knows me so well, but it's just also a nice way, and I'm sure Tater's kind of the same way of like, that's cute. Let me know if you're still excited about tomorrow. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and if you are, cool, but like, you might not be.
And I'm guilty of this as well, where the, you know, ready, fire, aim.
Yes.
And to where I'm super excited about this one thing that is like 83% finished.
Right.
So I'm going to go start a new one that is like
and never
parallel
carousel.
to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, let's start that from scratch again, you know, and I think I'm still excited about it, but you're right. It's like one of those things like, okay, well, let's let some of this just sort of settle.
One of the best books that I'd recommend to people to read, I've given it most of my clients, is The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. It's so good. And what I love about it is there's so many good quotes and questions in there to ask yourself. I was like, to help you realize, hey, is this a good idea? Is this about like all these different things? But one of my favorite quotes, I believe, comes from that book is, a great idea I can't execute well is a bad idea, at least for right now. You're right. So it's like my clients can be like, oh, this is what, and I'm like, you just told me you don't have 5 minutes to pee throughout the day, and you're trying to sell me on this 2 hour per day thing you're about to go launch. So like, love you, but like, are we going to stop doing something else?
Yeah,
or
you're
like,
literally going to overcommit.
The math is not mathing. So like, a great idea that you can't execute well is a bad idea, at least for right now.
I love it.
And like,
I'm
but
going to
there's
attribute
so
that to Mark
many
Twain.
good things like that in there. It's so good. What's that?
I'm just going to attribute that to Mark Twain.
It's probably John Maxwell. There we go. There we go. Frustrated, move. Yeah, I mean, go to the gym.
What is your remedy or soothing balm for the frustration that comes out of impatience? Because that has been a kryptonite for me, where it's like, time takes time. This is bullshit, you know, where I just want a fast forward button on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple things. One is, ask myself the question, if I keep doing this, do I get there? You know what I mean? Like if I keep doing it, does it get there? You know what I mean? And I think that's part of it. But it is hard when we want it right now. And I think that's where autobiographies and all that other kind of stuff. And then looking at the gain rather than just the gap is how far have we come? The
gap in the gain, bro.
And it's coaching. You know, like I tell a lot of my coaching clients at the beginning, it's like, especially for a lot of them that are really impatient, I'm like, this is going to feel like 2%, 2%, 2%. It's not going to feel big. And then a month from now, you're going to be like, holy cow, like there was this huge, it's going to feel like a big leap, but it's not going to feel like a big leap every single time. It's going to feel like a lot of loading. So I think partially it's like prefacing, like, this isn't going to feel amazing all the time, and that's part of it.
And the idea of, did you think it was going to be easy? Right. Then you say intellectually, well, no, of course not. Well, then this is what hard looks like.
Yeah, and give yourself stickers. I will do some dumb, crazy stuff for a sticker. Okay,
gamifying works.
Gamifying works, right? Like I made my 10 calls, I got 0 results, but at least you got to put the sticker on the board. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes like you got to gamify it, and for me, visual is very helpful.
Yeah.
So like I may have not got a listing today, but I made the 10, and I know that if I keep making the 10, it's going to get there. But like a visual thing of that helps.
Yes.
Me.
Well, and I saw the thing you posted the other day where it was the subtitles going by, but it was the, you know, did I do this? You know, do the things that move the needle and do them every day.
Absolutely.
You know, and it was that Kaizen mentality of like small, persistent effort, because like I pat myself on the back last night. I've done the elliptical every day this year so far.
Good job. That's
and I think
amazing.
we're almost to the middle of the year, which is also unbelievable.
That's phenomenal.
But it's one of those things where like, well, on day 3, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know, like day 17, it's like, okay, you're kind of onto something. But you know, when you're at the 6-month mark and beyond, it's like, okay.
Dude, it's amazing. I remember I was at this event, and I won't call her out because it might embarrass her, but I was at this event, and one of my friends is like, she's having, she's freaking out. She's like, I have to find a watch charger. And I was like, okay. And she's like, no, I have to. She's like, I have closed my rings every day so far this year. And this, it was probably like, 4 months into the year or whatever it was. And she's like, I've closed the ring every day. If this thing dies and I don't get to close my ring tomorrow, like I'm going to lose my mind. So literally she's like hunting through, like, does anyone in the room, whatever it was. But it's that thing of like, man, I've done this, and it feels really good to like see that progression.
And there's something about making that commitment to yourself when nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Because I could sit here and fib or whatever, and nobody would know. Yeah. I would know.
Correct.
And that always ties back into the thing about self-esteem comes from doing esteemable acts.
Absolutely. Yes.
And one of them is sticking with whatever you were saying you were going to do, which is all of these things and then burnout.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
well, and one more thing on that, I think most people lack self-confidence because they fail to keep the little commitments they make to themselves.
Do the reps.
You know what I mean? And like they're they think they're going to get self-confidence by, I just need to have a better mindset, or I just need to read more bumper stickers. But most self-confidence comes from, I'm proud of me for doing what I said I was going to do. And so many people don't keep those commitments, and then they're like, I don't know why I don't have any self-confidence. It's like, well, because that you don't do what you say you're going to do.
Exactly.
So no wonder you don't have self-confidence.
It's math.
Yeah.
In reality. So like, this is one of the things where, like everybody out there that's my friend in recovery or whatever, and they get like super spiritual or religious or whatever. And it's like, dude, we all get to do what we want. But like for me,
you might be too saved. Have you ever met that friend, right? You're like, have a good day. And they're like, we'll see if it's like, just love you.
You're like,
you may have got too much. Anyway.
Relax, Francis.
Yeah. Yes.
But for a long time, I struggled with, I don't really have a supernatural element to how I live my life. But there is a thing where confidence, and I would even put faith in that same boat, comes from if I've gone through enough of these situations where person X would say like, oh, it's this that got me through. I'd be like, oh, maybe. But I can also just do the reps.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the other side of it. So it becomes this thing, and this ties into the confidence where it's like, well, if I've done a thing 17 times and this has happened 15, the likelihood of the same thing happening when it's 18, it's like I can be confident in that. And it goes right to the thing of if I say I'm going to do something, day 3, I'm not going to throw a parade, but like 6 months, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm that guy.
Yeah. It's so good. And like, I think that so much of this goes back to identity, meaning like I may not always win, but I know that like I'm resourceful. I know that I'm going to be able to get back up. I know that I'm going to figure out a way. I know like when you can get your identity in alignment with like knowing who you're going to be during those tough times, I think that's a huge part of that.
Well, and if you're kind of one of the things you've always talked about is the intention and reflection, and then the awareness that just is kind of like the umbrella over that.
Yeah.
So Tanner and I went to the Dallas Builders Association luncheon yesterday, and I have not been to that thing in like 8 years, maybe 7, something like that. And it's at Maggiano's, and it's like, oh wow, it's at the same place. And then I go in, and there's like these bunch of different clients from different time periods. It was like a multiverse movie.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm in there, and it's like, wow, there were so many like little spider webbed situations that came back where I was pissed off about this at one point in time, or I was frustrated by this, or I was overwhelmed.
Like it's like half celebration, half apology tour. You're like, I think I dropped the ball on that. We nailed that. Yeah.
Well, but it was this crazy thing where all of those times in the moment, like where any one of those things that I was thinking about was like the thing on fire, or the thing that was eating up the most of my bandwidth. Yeah. Now, in hindsight, it's like, wow, I went through all of that, which then further shows that like, okay, I'm the guy that can persevere, or I'm the guy that doesn't hold a grudge, or I'm the guy that whatever. Yeah. And it just felt awesome to be in there and to like have a killer lunch and, listen to the panel or whatever. And it's like, I remember all of this. And it's like, the truth is back then, I don't even know why I was doing it. I was just like, partly because I don't even know what this is, you know? So I would go. So there's that curiosity that helps, where I didn't have a preconceived notion of the outcome or what it should be.
Yes.
Which that helps.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
that was a tangent there that just kind of hit me from yesterday. Unmotivated?
Unmotivated. Remind yourself why you started. I think that's a great thing. Like, why did I start in the first place? I think it's great. And I think also unmotivated kind of goes with like burnout, unmotivated, whatever it is. And I think a lot of times it's like take a step back. Go like, am I taking care of myself? Like, if I'm typically a motivated person, am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I pissed? Like, kind of go through some of that to figure
hungry,
out what's
angry, lonely, tired.
Exactly.
Halt.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
We hit anxious.
Yep.
Sad. Thankfully, knock wood, I very rarely get sad.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is just getting comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
Where I'm not having like morbid reflection. And it's like my downtime isn't spent like just kicking my own ass or whatever, which I think a lot of us do. I certainly did back in the
Well,
day.
I think sad and lonely, like those can kind of creep in, and they show up different for different people. But sometimes we can feel really isolated, right?
That's why I want a robot.
Yeah, that's why you're a robot. Yeah, tell me you love me. There you go. Yeah, and overwhelmed. I mean, so many of these tied together. But and then I think overwhelmed. I despise the word overwhelmed because what it actually means is that you've already been overrun. So when someone says I'm overwhelmed, like the definition of that word means you've already lost the battle.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like for me, overwhelm is such a catch-all that doesn't really have any meaning.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I know I'd been guilty of this in the past. There's that sort of like puritanical work ethic where we get extra stickers for like, oh, it was so hard.
Yes.
You know, and I'm so overwhelmed, but I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna grind. When in reality, it's like, well, it doesn't have to be that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Which. That's a learned behavior. Oh, wait,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be a veil of tears and like stress 24 hours a day. Like, no, actually not.
Yeah.
Dude.
Good list.
Yeah. I love. Thanks again to Hero Nation and Pam.
And Pam, thank you, Pam.
Yes. Dude, I love this.
Pam making it happen.
Yeah.
Fired up.
Any last parting shots today?
No, man.
Anything you need to confess before we go?
I think most of the confessions have been done. I'm going to go drink some black coffee because that's how I roll. Man, we got some good events coming. I'll share one win. A really cool win is I've got a couple of clients that are literally taking off the entire summer. And I had one client call and she was a couple weeks ago and she goes, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm going to step out of coaching for the summer. And I was like, oh, all right. And she goes, I'm taking the entire thing off, right? And I'm like, and it's funny because she was almost like apologetic about it. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is what we've been.
Dude, that's the.
This is what we've been working. This is freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
right. This is amazing.
That goes in the win column for Hero Nation.
Exactly. Like in intentionally taking off the next 2 months to go do all the other things that she wants to do, and then she'll step more or less back into her business. And man, it's so beautiful to see people being able to do that intentionally instead of haphazardly or all the other ways. So it's cool.
Right
cool to see that. Yeah.
Last thing I'll plug is next Thursday. We've got Michelle and Ashley.
Boom.
Yeah.
Going live.
Yes.
Doing the whole thing.
The 12th at City Center Title or Center City. I should have really had better notes on that.
In Texas.
One. Yes. See everybody there.
See you there.
Right on, brother. I will see you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah.
Fired up.
All right. Austin, take us out.